How did you convince yourself that you know how to weld? I'm going to use this nice flashing light here to demonstrate exactly what the problem with this thing is. I got to find a dark spot to do it in. I'll be right back. So there's one. The whole thing is basically a giant pinhole, but it's kind of hard to find them all at any given moment. One more coming. Anyway, I couldn't get the other pinholes to show up on the camera. They're packed away under the edge of this weld that did not really weld the thing, as you can see. Part of the problem was that the piece of pipe in there just doesn't sit inside of the flange correctly, or it's been wallowed out somehow. Like they cut the hole too big and then had to come back and try to fill it. What you're seeing at the inside surface here is where they tried to use gray RTV from the inside to kind of putty the thing back together. Like somebody noticed that it was leaking at some point. When it came to me, it had a ring of, like, you know, mix, kind of sticky premix all around the edge of where this thing's leaking at the base. And I'm pretty sure it showed up at a certain shop that way too. Whether the shop put the RTV on it to try to sell it to somebody or not, I couldn't say, but that is definitely gray RTV applied to the inside of a really poorly fabricated intake. Good news is I've got a spare flange off a manufacturer of bikes, a Honda. Came off a Honda Elite. As a matter of fact, you can just look at it and tell that that's gonna hold air where that one's not gonna hold air. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot better. Stay tuned and I'll show you all how it goes. So something that people tend to not learn when they're teaching themselves to weld, it's extra difficult to weld to patina on metal, like where it's been oxidized over time. So the thing to do is really to get your old angle grinder out with a flapper disc of some sort, or your bench grinder, whatever, and just go around the edge of it where you're going to be welding it and put a nice polished edge on it. Get all that patina out of there. You know, clean up your jagged places and smooth out the inside of the thing. Be right back. One more spot. If you don't have round files to finish that with, just roll up some sandpaper. It's fine. But all those burrs on the inside are obstructions in their own right, and they're places that the weld is going to tend to poke through. If you don't take care of them, the heat will follow that path, and then your wire follows the heat. Sweet. Just touches. Ah, still a spot. Oh, it's where they love it. It's also important to have your cut edge be pretty flat. I don't know if you can make it out on there, but you know, cutting with an angle grinder is never quite flat. So just get some sandpaper, nice flat work surface, and circles, opposite directions. Better. It's also important to have your cut edge be pretty flat. I don't know if you can make it out on there, but you know, cutting with an angle grinder is never quite flat. So just get some sandpaper, nice flat work surface, and circles, opposite directions. Got the old Honda exhaust strapped up here. Given that having your intake flange fairly smooth and straight and flat is pretty important, we're going to see how well I can do at angle grinding a Honda flange into an intake flange. Honda exhaust flange into a laser intake flange. Good luck, me. Let's go. The word of the day is, I'm pretty fucking good at this. I'm alright. I just pay more attention than some people do. Wait, was that an insult? Was I insulting somebody there? Does it matter? Well, kids, the word of the day is, I'm the fucking best. I'm the boss. A couple little scrapes there, but it's nothing that won't just sandpaper away. Maybe a little bit of the flapper disc around the inner edge there, but you gotta be careful. You can't draw lines between these, you know? Like from in here, you can't nick across that surface, or it won't work for its intended purpose, obviously. And in case anybody had this particular question, original piece. There is a shim in there, but it didn't fit that good. And a Honda Elite exhaust pipe actually fits significantly more snugly. So I think we might end up using the Honda bits for that, because, you know, that's an upgrade versus Italian. Just teasing. Italian mopeds are okay. But Hondas are the best, and I'm the best, so we're going with the best. Backing up for a second, I had originally misidentified this piece of tubing as something much smaller than what it is. It's actually pretty close to 19 millimeters nominally, which would match a PHBG 19 in theory. But if you look at what's going on with the really high effort, if you look at what's going on with this super high effort rubber hose mounting solution, you might notice that there's just not actually any way that, well, you can't really see in there, but given that the hose is not cut flat and holds this at an angle off of the carburetor, there's this like little eddy pool right in here, a big empty space, a void inside of there where you can kind of hear it click if I get it down there. This doesn't seal. That's never going to seal. It might seal for a minute when you're running it on the stand, but as soon as you take that out the door, that's going to start working its way free. It had a hose clamp on it. It didn't work. So we're going to fix it. I'm going to switch her out a proper clamp mount, spigot mount. Wait. Clamp mount. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to switch her out with the proper clamp mount PHBG apparatus here, as you can see. Choke bits are interchangeable. You just swap those out, one for the other. Cable choke for pull choke. And it's all going to fit together a whole lot better. Once this is sort of figured out, the Honda tube is a much better fitment for this, for whatever reason. It's going to be nice. I'm excited. Pretty goddamn flat. Needs to come down a little bit in the middle. And the far left of it is going to get cut off anyway, so